Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer held crisis talks with his senior players, including Cristiano Ronaldo and Bruno Fernandes, on Thursday, as he tried to salvage Manchester United's season and save his job. Now Solskjaer is under pressure at Manchester United, following back-to-back home defeats to Manchester City and Liverpool. And Man United have only won one of their last 6 Premier League games. At the moment, Manchester United are 6th in the Premier League. Now, reports said recently that Manchester United have made a decision to sack Solskjaer. But he could still remain in charge until the end of the season. Yesterday, he said Solskjaer is refusing to quit Man United, despite senior stars losing faith in tactics. Solskjaer is sure he can turn Manchester United's fortunes around. Earlier on this week, Solskjaer returned to the Carrington training ground. Last week, he was away in Norway after he granted his players a week off. Last weekend, there was reports coming out saying that senior stars want Solskjaer sacked. That was stemming from Duncan Castles. Manchester United should have sacked Solskjaer after the 5-0 defeat to Liverpool. If we'd have sacked him after that game, I can assure that Man United would have got Antonio Conte. It actually said after the 5-0 defeat to Liverpool that Solskjaer had been given 3 games to save his job. And he only won 1 of them 3 games. When Manchester United sack Solskjaer, they'll have to pay Solskjaer $7.5 million, because in the summer he signed a new 3-year contract with an option of a further year. Now, I want to give you some news on Zinedine Zidane. Manchester United are set to miss out the chance of appointing Zinedine Zidane as their next manager. Because French football expert Julien Laurens claims that Zidane is very unlikely to take the job at Old Trafford, as he's pretty much agreed to take over the France job to replace Didier Deschamps. Well, it said Zidane is not available until the summer, because the Man United board have had talks with Zidane, and Zidane let the board know that he doesn't feel ready for the Premier League at the moment, and he prefers to take a break until the summer. Apparently as well, Zidane is learning English. Reports have said though that Zidane was interested in the Manchester United job, but there was a problem. Zidane's wife was not attracted to the idea of living in Manchester. You know, I thought Zidane's close relationships with Ronaldo and Varane could have persuaded him to join. Ronaldo wants Zidane at Manchester United. He's already made that clear. Zidane is managerless because he left Real Madrid in the summer. And you've got to admire what he did at Real Madrid. He won a lot of trophies, so reflecting on that, he's got a good pedigree behind him. Zidane has never managed in the Premier League, and it would be good for him to come and experience the Premier League like I've mentioned before. But I wanted Zidane at Manchester United because, if he came to Man United, he'd get us back to that level where we should be at. He'd suit the strappings of the club and he'd get the best out of these group of players. Brendan Rodgers, there's been a lot of talks about him coming to replace Solskjaer at Man United. Yesterday, like I updated you, it said Brendan Rodgers distances himself from the Man United job. Rodgers has said, "I'm proud to be at Leicester," and he said the reports linking him with the Man United job are not true. Well, it said the other day that Brendan Rodgers is ready to say yes to Man United if he's offered the job. Brendan Rodgers has been house hunting in Cheshire. But it has said Brendan Rodgers is leading the race to replace Solskjaer. The Manchester Evening News said the other week that Manchester United are ready to trigger Brendan Rodgers' contract clause if Solskjaer gets sacked. And earlier on in the season, it said that Brendan Rodgers had already verbally agreed to become Man United's new manager, but his preference would be to wait until next season as he's reluctant to leave Leicester midway through the season. You've got to admire what Brendan Rodgers has done at Leicester. So far at Leicester, he's won the Community Shield and the FA Cup. And he's been in charge of Leicester for almost 3 years. He's got a contract with Leicester until 2025. Pochettino, he's still being spoken about as well. The last time I read up about Pochettino, it said Pochettino will consider making a return to the Premier League on his next job. Pochettino has a full season left on his PSG contract. But revert back to Solskjaer. Solskjaer has been given long enough at Manchester United. He's been Manchester United manager for almost 3 years. And I'm surprised he's still Man United manager, but the reason he's lasted as long as he has done is because he's a legend of the club. Disregarding being a legend of the club, I can assure he would have been sacked by now. Solskjaer is not the long-term manager for Man United. I said that a while ago, and a lot of United fans will agree with me on that aspect. I presume the vast majority of United fans, or all United fans, are Solskjaer out. This season is Solskjaer's 3rd full season at Man United, and I did say at the start of this season that this season was going to be massive for him. But the expectations are far too high for him to exceed as Man United manager. And he's in a position that he shouldn't be in. Solskjaer has not yet won a trophy as Man United manager. We haven't won a trophy since 2017. Reflecting on our poor performances, Solskjaer is partly to blame because his tactics and his team selections have been questioned a lot. But you can't just put all of the blame on him. There's also players that have to take responsibility for those poor performances. We'll always adore Solskjaer, reflecting on what he's done for the club. At the end of the day, Solskjaer was a very good player for Man United. He enjoyed 11 years as a player. He flourished under Ferguson's guidance, and he had a proven pedigree when he was a player. But unfortunately, he hasn't got a proven pedigree as a manager, and that is a concern. But at this moment in time, the club from top to bottom is in a predicament. The way to get out of this predicament is to get a change of manager, and structural changes are also needed at the club. When Solskjaer does get sacked, he will be the fourth permanent manager to be sacked since Ferguson, because Man United have already sacked 3 managers since Ferguson. We sacked David Moyes, we sacked Louis van Gaal, and we sacked Jose Mourinho. Solskjaer knew when he'd taken over at Manchester United it was going to be a massive job. Not only a massive job, a difficult job as well. At the end of the day, Solskjaer's managing one of the biggest clubs in the world. Man United appointed Solskjaer in December 2018 to replace Mourinho. In Solskjaer's first 3 months, he was the interim manager. He did very, very well as the interim manager. So, reflecting on that, the club decided to give him the job on a permanent basis back in March 2019. Since Solskjaer's come in, he has signed 14 players, and Man United have spent over £400 million under the Solskjaer era, and Solskjaer's enjoyed like 5 transfer windows as permanent Man United manager. He's also got rid of a lot of players since he's come in. He's loaned players out, he's got rid of players permanently. I like the way he's developed the youth since he's come in, and he's more or less given everybody their chances to express themselves like he sure he would do when he got appointed in as Man United manager. Progress has also been made under him. Solskjaer's got us to semi-finals. In his first full season, he got us to 3 semi-finals. Last season, he got us to the EFL Cup semi-final, the FA Cup quarter-final. And last season, he got us to the Europa League final, and that was his first major final as Man United manager, but unfortunately, we didn't win it. So there you go, and last season he got us a 2nd place finish, and in his first full season he got us a 3rd place finish. Also, a lot of players' contracts have been extended since Solskjaer came in. I think the board backed Solskjaer very well in this year's summer transfer window, and the board still continue to back Solskjaer now. The Glazers are backing him, Ed Woodward's backing him, John Murtaugh, our director of football's backed him, and Darren Fletcher backed him. Man United enjoyed a very good summer transfer window this year, made 4 signings. 3 of the 4 signings were major signings. We re-signed Ronaldo, brought Sancho in, brought Varane in, and of course brought Tom Heaton in on a free. Spent around £141 million. And Manchester United have got a very good squad. So reflecting on what I've just said, Man United should be doing much better than they are, but the reason we're not getting the best out of a lot of the players is because we're a team of individuals, like a lot of pundits have spoke about. You know, Man United don't actually play as a team. If we played as a team, we'd be up there competing. You've got the likes of City, Liverpool and Chelsea that all play as a team, and that explains why they're in a much better position than Man United at this moment in time. But Manchester United should be winning the Premier League this season. Or at least competing for the league, you know. Solskjaer did mention at the start of this season that his ambition was to win the Premier League. We haven't won the Premier League since 2013. You know, we have won 20 titles and 13 of them are Premier League titles. Now, Manchester United are going to offload players next year. Lingard, it looks like he's going next year. I gave you the news on him yesterday night. It said Jesse Lingard's future at Man United is in doubt after talks over a new contract collapsed. His current contract at Man United expires next summer. He recently said Lingard could leave Manchester United for just £10 million. Well, obviously it's better to cash in for him rather than let him go on a free. Lingard has only made one start this season, and that was West Ham in the EFL Cup. Lingard has been part of the club for a long time. You know, he's risen up our academy as well. He's had his good periods at Man United, he's had his bad periods. At one point, Solskjaer did actually say that he wants Lingard to stay at Man United. At the second half of last season, he enjoyed the 4-month loan spell with West Ham and he made an impact. West Ham tried to get him in the summer transfer window this year, but West Ham were struggling to meet Man United's 25 million asking price. Paul Pogba, there's a good chance that Manchester United will sell him next year, because not so long ago it said that Man United are prepared to sell Paul Pogba in the January transfer window. Well, it makes sense to cash in for him in January rather than let him go on a free next summer. Well, Pogba may never play for the club again, because Pogba's going to miss the rest of 2021 because the other week Pogba suffered a thigh injury in France training. Pogba's still got one game to serve in the league out of the 3-match ban he got, because Pogba got sent off in the 5-0 defeat to Liverpool. Pogba did play in the 2-2 draw against Atalanta, and he was poor in that game, and reflecting on his poor performance, he got heavily criticised. The other week though, reports from France did say that Pogba wants to renew his contract with Man United, but reportedly on one condition, that he's made the Premier League's highest paid player. So he wants to overtake Ronaldo as the highest paid player. At the moment, Pogba receives around 290 grand a week on his current contract. Pogba's current contract at Man United expires next summer. Before the start of this season, he rejected a new Man United contract offer. But Pogba is a good player. Not only a good player, he's an imperative player. So I actually want him to stay at Man United. He did enjoy a good start to the Premier League season. So far, he's got 7 assists. He produced good performances for Man United in the last couple of months of last season as well. But at one point last season, he was out with a thigh injury for a while. Pogba has had a long-running transfer saga. He's been relentlessly linked with Real Madrid. His former club Juventus have been in for him. He enjoyed 4 good years with Juventus before he rejoined Man United. PSG have been in for him, Barcelona have been in for him, and Inter Milan have been in for him before. Pogba's agent, Mino Raiola, though, has been working hard now for a long time to get his client to move away from the football club. This season is Pogba's 6th season at Man United since he rejoined. He's won 3 trophies at the club so far, and Man United paid £89 million for him, so reflecting on that, is our most expensive signing at the moment. We had him when he was a lot younger under the Ferguson era, but we had to let him go due to limited appearances. Matic, I think he's leaving Man United next year. I've always had my strong reservations about Matic. He's always been a static midfielder. And he's aging up. But despite that, he has had his good games at Man United. Matic isn't one of our first choice midfielders, but despite that, he does get his opportunities, and surprisingly enough, Matic is ahead of Van der Beek in our midfield. Matic has been at Manchester United for 4.5 years. We got Matic from Chelsea back in 2017 for 40 million. Van der Beek's leaving in January. The player himself has confirmed that. Obviously, he's frustrated with his situation at Manchester United. Van der Beek quite clearly has not been given enough game time. So reflecting on that, I haven't had much of a perception on him, but in general, he is a good player. And I've said Solskjaer should be starting Van der Beek, especially in the Premier League. Van der Beek's endured a difficult 1.5 years or so at Man United. This season is his 2nd full season at Man United. We got him in a deal worth 40 million with add-ons included. He's got a contract with the club till 2025. There's an option of a further year, and he's versatile. He can play in 3 different roles. Martial, he's going next year, which I'm happy about, because Martial's not good enough to represent the club, and he doesn't really get in the team anyway. Martial come back from injury not so long ago. Martial's had 1 good season at Man United, and that was his debut season under Louis van Gaal era. Martial's been at Manchester United for 6.5 years. He's got 3 years left on his contract. We got him for like 58 million from Monaco back in 2015. Cavani, I think he's also leaving next year. I can't say I want Cavani to leave though, with the impact he's made since he's come in. Cavani's actually now out with injury until December. He was out with injury earlier on this season. Cavani has got under a year left on his Man United contract. It was back in May he signed that 1-year contract extension. This season is his 2nd full season at Man United. Man United did get him on a free transfer from PSG. Mata, I think he's another one that's going next year. Well, Mata's contract at Man United expires next summer. Because earlier on this year, he signed a 1-year contract extension. I can't understand why we extended Mata's contract for the further year. Because Mata doesn't get in the team and he's ageing up and he has lost that yard of pace. I think he's had a good career though at Man United. He has made over 200 appearances in all competitions and he's scored over 50 goals. Mata has been at Manchester United for like 7.5 years, so he has been a long-serving player. We got Mata from Chelsea back in 2014 for 40 million. We brought him in under the David Moyes era. Jones and Bailly, I think they're both going to be leaving next year. I think Tellez and Dalot are leaving next year. And I think Dean Henderson will go out on loan because obviously Dean Henderson doesn't get in goal now because De Gea reclaimed that #1 spot back. Henderson's only been in goal for 1 game so far this season. That was the game against West Ham in the Cup. At one point he was out with COVID for a while. At one point last season though, Henderson got the #1 jersey and to his credit he did well in a lot of the games he was in goal for last season. So there you go. There is inconsistent players at Manchester United, you know, like I've gone through with you before. You know, you've got Shaw and Maguire that have been very inconsistent this season. But overall, they're not inconsistent players because I think overall Luke Shaw and Harry Maguire are good. Just haven't proven that this season. You know, you've got Lindelof that's inconsistent. I don't want him at Manchester United. I can't understand why he's ahead of Eric Bailly because Bailly's a far superior centre-half to Lindelof. You know, you've got Fred, that's inconsistent. You know, Man United overpaid for Fred. You know, paid around £50 million for him from Shakhtar Donetsk. You know, you've got McTominay, that's inconsistent, even though he has had his good games at Man United. Fred and McTominay do play a lot of games together. And a lot of United fans have had a go at Solskjaer for him persistently selecting Fred and McTominay in the centre midfield. Matic is another one that's inconsistent. You know, Jesse Lingard, inconsistent, but like I mentioned earlier, doesn't really get in the team anyway. And Anthony Martial, he's inconsistent as well, but he doesn't really get in the team. But yeah, like I said to you, you know, there's really good players at Manchester United. You know, our squad must be worth over £1 billion. I think we've spent over £1 billion since Ferguson retired. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you today. On my next video I will be giving you my predicted 11 for Man United's game against Watford. And take care, God bless, see you all again soon.